lost, there's always a hope. Rise and fight.
Hello and welcome to a new BSL 14 GosuLeague cast here on Zero's channel on Trovo. My name is Master Ray and my co-caster as always is Snipe. Welcome.
Thank you and welcome everybody, all the viewers. Excited to be here. We're going to find out our GosuLeague champion today. So will it be Dragon? Will it be Sakwe? We'll find out in a little bit. But first we have a third place match here between Maars and NbA. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, the same matchups that we saw last stream already in the semifinals. One PvP, one PvT. PvT comes first in the third place match today. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because I feel like Maars played very well in the semifinals, but he just had some little execution errors with his pushes and like lost to Dragon. This time, I hope he can execute his pushes a little bit better, and then it should be a very close and exciting match.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. Both players have looked good throughout this tournament. Maars really impressed me against Dragon despite, what you said, a couple execution errors. NbA has played a little bit safe, right? We saw this in his PvPs going like 2-gate a lot and stuff, even if he wasn't pressuring with it. So maybe he might play too safe against Maars, thinking maybe he's a little bit of a favorite because he was in ProLeague, and maybe Maars can take advantage. So we'll see. I'm hoping this match goes 5 games.
Yeah, one other thing, Maars, I thought he's more of a macro player, but last time in the semifinals he did a lot of two-base pushes, pretty much I think every game. Maybe that is because he knows, okay, Dragon has won a little bit too many of their practice matches before and he's a little bit weaker than Dragon, so he might go for some pushes. But I think against other players he's usually more of a macro player, so especially against NbA, who's also a macro player, I could see some games go very long today.
Yeah, me as well. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, I guess we'll see what the players can bring. You can see their stats on screen here. A little bit higher there for NbA, but I know that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Yeah, I'm not sure what our first map is. I think we might be able to bring that up here in a little bit. Yeah, in a few seconds here, just setting things up still. But looking at this, yeah, we can see Maars has done very well, placed in GosuLeague, 3rd place in Season 13. GosuLeague the last few seasons, steadily improving here. But yeah, our first map, I do think looked like it was going to be maybe Butter here. And yeah, we'll bring that on screen. Interesting map to start off, 2-player map, so maybe NbA can try and do something cheeky here. Possibly not. We've seen he's kind of a macro player, likes to play it safe. Does look like this map favors Terran here, right? EVT, 3-0 for Terran, according to the stats. So we'll see if Maars can take the first win here.
Yeah, it shows 3-0, but I remember we saw that last time as well, and Maars did play this map against Dragon already, and he went for a little push with 3 tanks and lost against Dragon on this map. So yeah, let's see what he is doing this time against NbA. I think we are ready and we can jump into the first game. Let's go. Okay, and here we are on the first map of the 3rd place match here in the BSL 14 GosuLeague. In the top right we have our blue Protoss. It is NbA.
All right, and in the bottom right, in the red, it is Maars.
Some little chat about latency here. Maars is from Canada, well, NbA is from Chile, so they are both on in America, North and South America. Should not be too bad here.
Yeah, we'll see. Sometimes there is a bit of lag. I know playing with South Americans still, being in Canada myself, but
Not be too bad. Here.
hopefully the players didn't experience too much problem. Yeah, we'll see. Sometimes there is a bit of lag. I know playing. We'll see what the players want to open with. Does look like we got the pylon just right next to the Nexus there, and also supply depot here against that command center. Of course, that's going to help SCVs reach the minerals a little bit quicker. So I like that depot placement, just pushing the SCVs to spawn on the right side of the command center instead of the left, so they get a little bit closer to those minerals. Do have a gateway first, so not going to see anything like a quick Nexus or anything necessarily here. We could still go gate Nexus on the Protoss side. Meanwhile, we'll have to see if Maars wants to take his gas or go for something like a Raxus Van.
Yeah, he definitely did that in the semifinals in at least one game. But here we can see he's taking his gas, and yeah, as you mentioned, the probability of initial Zealot from the Protoss, I think, is on a 2-player map very high, because you know your probe will get to the opponent right away, and it can start harassing, disrupting the normal play of the turn a little bit, and then the Zealot can maybe do a little bit more damage.
Yeah, definitely going to keep our eye on that. Core was started right away, so it's not going to be a Zealot before Core. You can still get a Zealot here at 14 supply. Looks like he's not going to go for that Zealot, actually. So just going to be standard, straight up going to go into Dragoon, feeling comfortable in his macro play maybe. I expect we'll see something like maybe Dragoon Nexus or 2 Dragoon Nexus, like a 21 or a 23 Nexus coming out from NbA.
Yeah, and Maars is scouting this. He knows, okay, nothing dangerous coming my way early on. He still has some time to stay in the base here until the first goon pops. Meanwhile, Marine trying to chase this probe, but usually if a probe is microed well, it can always survive like one Marine. It gets dangerous for the probe when the second Marine spawns, and yeah, you can see NbA knows this. The second Marine will spawn any second, so probe leaves the base here.
Yeah, and NbA got all the scouting information he can really get and wants at this time. He saw, you know, only one SCV on gas, saw the factory started, so he's pretty sure he knows what he's up against, right? This definitely looks like a standard factory expansion type play. We don't know if Maars wants to go for the vultures first or if he wants to go tank first. That's still up in the air, but still, as much as NbA can get done now, we do have a robo facility actually coming down here from NbA very quickly before the expansion, before goon range. So looks like NbA wants to put on some early pressure with some early reavers here.
Yeah, and this is possible because Maars left the base, but now he tries to get in again. Can this goon deny the scouting? One more shot for this SCV to die. And yes, it dies. So, did he see the core? I'm not sure, but the core is spinning. So yeah, it looks like NbA started the +1 air attack, so that the core is spinning when the SCV scouted the score. But yeah, little interesting strategy here by NbA, and also the decision for Maars to move the SCV out of the base so that he is not staying in the base to scout everything. This allowed NbA to go for this robotics.
Yeah, now Vulture is going to come up here, see if it can't get some scouting done or maybe get in the base, but NbA's got his Dragoons well positioned. It looks like he's going to be able to deny that scouting once again. Now, Maars will have noticed with his SCV that there wasn't a Nexus started, but that's not necessarily telling at this point, right? Like, it's like, okay, he didn't go 23 or 21 Nexus, but it could still be something like a 28 Nexus, right? He just has no idea. I don't think he scouted a third pylon either. So he's kind of in the dark. He's got to be feeling a little bit uncomfortable. He doesn't necessarily know what's coming or not coming his way. And that's never really a good feeling as Terran in the spot.
Yeah, so far super nice scouting denial here by NbA. And yeah, you can see like Maars is already pulling the SCVs. He doesn't know. I mean, it could be some like proxy gateways as well, like 3-gate proxy with 2 gateways proxy. Something like that could also happen. We see the siege mode finishing, so Maars is pretty safe in his natural. But yeah, he doesn't have any defense in his main so far.
Yeah, now if Maars can deflect this Reaver without taking too much damage or anything, right, he is going to be in a good spot because his natural expansion's up way quicker than NbA. Like, we can see NbA still hasn't started it. So if Maars manages to like stop this shuttle Reaver combo from doing too much damage, he's going to be in a very good position here moving forward. But it's going to come down to the control, like who's got better control, who can defend, or who can do more damage, and we'll find out here as the Reaver's flying across the map.
And what I notice is there's no building at the top part of Mars's base. So there's a little dark spot where I think the units can be dropped out without Maars seeing it. I'm not quite sure if the gas is seeing it. Okay, it is seeing it. So 2 Zealots, 1 Reaver can definitely kill 2 Reavers. No reaction by Maars. First tank immediately goes down, second tank goes down as well, and there's just nothing here. And now the goons can be transferred over as well. And I think we could see an early GG here.
Yeah, that was a great first couple of Scarabs. This is going to be deadly. Like, can Maars do anything? 2 Dragoons in the base here now, 2 Zealots, a Reaver. And all there is for Maars is 1 tank. He managed to just kill 1 off. But yeah, GG is called, so very quick first game. Nice early game strategy from NbA there, taking a little bit of a risk, but it pays off, and he takes the first game.
Yeah, nice. Congratulations. Nice scouting denial. And if there's no scouting, something like this can happen. And this game is over quickly than you expected. So,
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I don't know if we'll see that kind of strategy here in every game now. That's kind of a strategy that maybe you pull out once in a series or a best of 5. If he does it again and gets away with it again, I don't know what to say. But yeah, I think we might see something maybe a little bit more standard, or maybe something different like fast DTs or faster Nexuses. It will depend on the map too. Meanwhile, I don't think that's necessarily telling for Maars either. Like, he got caught off guard. I think we'll see him fight back and have some stronger games moving forward here.
Yeah, the little problem here is, with some strategies, you just say, yeah, okay, you have to scout better and then it's fine, and you can defend it. But this time, Maars actually tried to scout. Like, he sent an SCV in, he sent another Vulture in, and it was all denied. So, to really be safe here, he just has to, for example, build the turrets earlier, or just get a little bit more units. So just play a little bit safer, and this could delay his unit production or economy a little bit.
Yeah, well, let's check out the second map here. That could dictate some of the strategies players wanted to go for.
Yeah, on Butter, we know it's a pretty short distance by air, especially if you build the robotics at the very bottom of the base, if you're in the top right. So this is a strategy that we just saw from NbA that is good on Butter. But here we see the second map will be Eclipse, and I think on this map it's not that good to build your robotics in your base and then do this fast drop. Maybe if you go for like a proxy rover, but I think the chances are pretty high that we see something different here.
Yeah, definitely agree, because like you said, the Butter just straight line on the edge of the map to your opponent's base, but here could be anything. Yeah, I guess jump in. Looks like the PVT is pretty close and we're ready to go, so we'll see what the players have for us on this map.
Okay, and here we are in the second game. In the top right, we have our red Terran spawning. It is Maars.
All right, and in the bottom left, already sending a probe out onto the map, it is our blue Protoss NbA. So yeah, we are definitely seeing something different here, but even more aggressive than last game. We will see a proxy. Now, this map, of course, being a little bit famous for, being able to pull off these proxy type plays. I think more recently we've seen more like gas steals into Nexuses, or just gas steals with gateway zealot pressure in general. But yeah, will Maars be able to scout for this? This location isn't necessarily a spot you're going to scout that often, even for a proxy, right? Like, I don't know. Is Maars going to be able to hold this off, or are we going to have a quick 2-0?
The probe was sent very early, so you can see this is a 7 gate. So usually you see like a 9 gate with this. So this is even 2 probes earlier. This is very early. But in return, the economy of NbA is pretty bad. So if Maars defends this somehow, doesn't die to it, he will still be in a fine spot, even if he takes some damage. So this probe is very important to secure the damage here for NbA. This can already do a lot of things here.
Yeah, but now let's see if Maars picks up on this. This probe is actually a little bit earlier than a normal pylon scout. We'll see if Maars notices that, and the fact that it was here so early and did not take the gas has got to be at least a little telling, right? Like, if you see a probe here this early, you can only be thinking he's coming to take the gas. Well, he made no attempt to take the gas, right? So if Maars is paying attention to that, he might realize, okay, this is a pretty early proxy gate somewhere out on the map. We'll see if he tries to scout for that.
I think if you really knows, like if you really thinks, yeah, this is really weird, this should be a proxy, I think you don't even have to scout. You can just go straight to your opponent and confirm it that way, and you can already prepare. And I think Maars is sniffing this out, because we can see in the main base of Maars there's a second depot next to the barracks. This is of course so that the Marines can fit between the barracks and the depots, and usually a lot of Terrans only do one depot next to the barracks. In this case it's 2 depots, so there are 2 spots, 2 chokes where Marines can go through that Zealots can't.
Yeah, I am wondering if he did, because he actually stopped Marine production after 1 just to get that factory started a little bit sooner. I feel like if you knew it was a proxy, you probably would have just kept up that Marine production, but we'll see. I mean, it's 2 Zealots against 2 Marines. Oh, and the first Marine goes down, so this is not looking good for Maars right away.
But this SCV is insane on the factory. Like 4 times it was not reachable by Zealots. Like 4 different positions that the SCV randomly took, it was not attackable. It's crazy.
Wow, and look at this SCV blocking here from Maars, doing a really great job of his micro here, controlling those SCVs, picking off that Zealot, but the danger is still here. Another Zealot coming in. He needs to keep the Zealot count down and get that factory finished if he can. Nice micro there, just dodging those. Those Marines are both 1 hit from death there. That other one 2 hits, but with a 4th Marine popping out and this wall with proper micro, I think Maars is going to be okay.
Yeah, man. This was really good micro by Maars, but without taking anything away from him, this was also like the luckiest SCV that I've ever seen. Like 6 or 7 times it went into a position where it couldn't get attacked. And I mean, the factory is the real key to stopping this. Now you have a vulture. A vulture can kill unlimited amount of zealots. So the factory finishing effectively stops this rush completely. And I think this is a very good opportunity for Maars to do a counterattack with that many Marines as well, because of his good micro.
Well, we'll see. First Dragoon is out. There is a second gateway back at home for NbA as well, so he's going to be able to start producing those Dragoons. Maybe no real counter damage. Maars is going to send that Vulture across, but with a couple Dragoons, I don't think he's going to be able to find the damage he's hoping for. Now, in saying that, he is going to be able to throw down his natural there, taking that command center, getting a bunker up just so he can be safe. But I think overall that rush was held pretty well from Maars, and he's in a pretty good spot.
Yes, when I look at the probe or the worker count, it's pretty similar. So NbA did cut some probes in the beginning, but it looks like Maars also did cut some SCVs during this rush. I think only like 1 or maybe 2 got killed. Either way, NbA is always like half a worker ahead. So I think this game could just go on. But of course we have to remember that Maars has an expansion like halfway finished and NbA has not. He's looking to take it right now.
Yeah. Oh, but Vulture is coming in. Will he be able to pick off that probe? No, he sees the Dragoon just going to turn around, but he does see that the natural hasn't been taken yet, which is a pretty important scout, right? He knows his economy is going to be in better shape. So now it's up to Maars to figure out, okay, where do I take this game from next? Do I want to put on some maybe mid-game pressure, since I know I'm going to have the early economic advantage?
Yeah, at this point, yeah, he just has to make sure to repair the bunker. This definitely looks like NbA will go for an attack here. There are 2 more units coming. We have, I think, total of 5 goons and 2 zealots. And if those jump the bunker and the 3 SCVs just left, oh no, this could immediately kill the bunker. Okay, SCVs are coming, but only 3 of them. Is this enough? I don't think so.
Where's the repair? Just a little too slow. Now, does Maars have enough to hold this attack back? All these Dragoons are pretty good health. Now, yeah, he's going to be able to push into the natural here of Maars. Bit unfortunate for him. Going to force a lift off there, but this is going to buy the time that NbA needs. And, oh, if he could pick off that tank, that would be very deadly dangerous for Maars. It looks like Maars is probably going to be able to hold this, but, yeah, especially with siege mode down here, there's no way, like, NbA is going to be able to push up there. but like the damage has kind of been done. This kind of helps even things out a little bit more for NbA's later Nexus.
Yeah, you can see that the Nexus is now finished, and the lost mining time of Maars here basically makes it almost even. Like, okay, Maars command center is still a little bit earlier, but the fact that he had to pull SCVs, yeah, should balance it out. Yeah, it's very unfortunate that he really removed the SCVs from the bunker, like right before the attack. A little scout in front of the bunker to see the amount of units that are sitting there could have prevented that, so unfortunate for Maars here.
Yeah, now Maars did lay a mine down here at the third base, so that's just going to slow NbA down here a little bit, not allowing him to get that Nexus up when he wants. See if he sends a unit over there to tank some damage, or I think his observers are on the way, so he might just send that over to clear that up here in a little bit. But either way, that is going to slow down that natural just a little bit for him, buying Maars some time. But that attack is actually forcing here a lot of turrets from Maars, expecting maybe some sort of drop follow-up. You see him throwing a lot of turrets around the edge. Now the Robo support phase only just starting, so it's going to be a little bit before NbA is going to be able to fly some Reavers in there, so maybe a little early on those turrets, but in Maars' position, he really doesn't know what to expect, right? Especially after that first game when that Reaver flew in so early, he's just like, it feels like he's not quite sure where he's at in this game.
Yeah, so far in the series, NbA showed only aggression. Like, everything's just aggression from NbA, so definitely makes sense to get those defensive turrets. On the other side, we can see NbA clearing the mine here. He went for the observer first, goes for a third base, and then we'll see the Reaver follow up with his shuttle speed. So not in super early Reaver harass, but a speed shuttle Reaver harass that comes a little bit later. It can still do a lot of damage, or at least prevent the Terran from moving out to take a third later on.
Yeah, Maars does look pretty poised to kind of defend a Reaver attack when it comes in here. I mean, he's already got all those turrets up at least, right? So I'm not sure if it'll get too much done, but maybe he'll get a couple shuttles and try and dive bomb him in with a couple of different shuttles at some point. Or maybe this will turn into one of those games where he follows up with a bunch of storm drops, stuff like that. We'll have to see. There's still a couple ways he can play this game, but for now, both players seem to be in fine position. Maars just getting, look like a couple more factories maybe up here. Oh no, he's still just sitting on 2 factories, and it's a starport coming up, so we'll see. Maybe he wants to go for drops, or this could be just to get that science facility up for drops. Or sorry, not drops, or his upgrades.
Yep. The first, you can see here, the first Armory has already completed the first +1 attack upgrade, over 50%. So this is the timing, if you want to go for the double upgrades to get 2-1, this is the timing where you should start your starport, like when the first upgrade is around 50% finished. So I think we could see a nice 2-1 upgrade push here from us.
Yeah, and the fact that he hasn't started his third base yet kind of leans towards this looking like he wants to go for a 2-base 2-1 kind of attack. So a very strong, like faster attack off of 2 base, right, with lots of units. He hasn't started adding any of those additional factories yet. It's just a third one now, but imagine we'll see a bunch of factories thrown down if he's not going to take his command center. And of course, as soon as I say that, he does throw down a command center, so he is going to go for that third base.
Yeah, the thing is, I think third base is a good decision here by Maars, because if you really wanted to go for a 2-base push, but to wait for the full 2-1 upgrades before this will take a long time, and NbA has a pretty early third, so in that case I would get scared that NbA is too far ahead economy-wise, but with Maars also getting the third, I think this game is overall pretty fine.
Yeah. Now he will scout these Reavers. Nice little pickoffs where he's going to kill a bunch of Vultures, even a couple of mines there for the trouble, so good position. He just wants to try and slow a potential push coming from Maars, but as we can see, Maars doesn't really have any ideas of pushing here anytime soon. He just kind of wants to set up outside his base here and take his third, really get his macro and economy rolling.
And here we have that speed shuttle. Speed is finished. We have 2 Reavers, and he's looking to check the third. I don't think he will go into the main base, but maybe he will just wait at the third for a possible SCV transfer once Maars floats his command center over there.
Yeah, and that gateway in the middle of the map finally just now killed off from those tanks. Pylon's still there, but I'm sure we'll see that killed off here shortly. Now NbA looks like he's poising for a 4th base here in the bottom corner. Probably going to get that. SCV goes up there, sees a couple of Reavers, so Maars is going to have to bring a couple things to deal with that just to take his 3rd base. But NbA can, of course, pick those Reavers up and fly away when needed. So just going to use them as a little bit of a delay tactic or try and slow down Maars just a little bit more. Anything he can do, to get a little bit of an advantage off that.
Oh, and Maars not really careful here, going too close to the Reavers. Yeah, these Reavers alone are kind of delaying the 3rd base. The CC, you see it's floating over already, but there's no SCVs because he had to wait for the Reaver to leave first before he can send those SCVs.
Yep, well, 3rd base will get up now. Maars doing some scans. He does scan that the 4th base will be coming up here from NbA. There is a dropship actually. They're kind of waiting in the corner. I didn't see that until just now. We'll see what he wants to do with that. If he's maybe just going to wait until the probes get transferred there to the 3rd base to throw that down in there. But now, Stargate started here for NbA. Looks like he's got the Templar tech out, so he's probably going to be transitioning into that Arbiter tech here following up. But with the speed shuttles, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for some storm drops along to combo with this.
Yeah. And this is always a nice tactic. Overall, I feel NbA is slightly ahead here with the supply advantage and also the 4th base that he has completed right now. But the worker count is still in Mars's favor, so overall I would say we could really see a long game here.
Yeah, definitely pretty close. Okay, another shuttle is being done. Storm is being upgraded, so eventually we will start to see those storm drops. Couple of vultures just poking in to see if there's a base here. Maars confirming nothing there. Couple of dragoons. Okay, that pylon finally will go down from that early game proxy there. NbA is not going to mind too much. Well, it looks like almost supply block him, so we have to rebuild that, but not too much of a hassle. Now we do have Science Vessel on the way as well to help scout for or detect any Arbiter tech or get some EMPs off if he can.
Yeah, and the 2-1 is finished, and we don't see a push here, so we are at 160 supply for our Terran player. Usually if the Terran reaches like 170 or so, that's the time when he wants to start pushing, but maybe he's just doing it slowly, getting a 4th base and waiting for 3-2, but yeah, okay, we can see one armory is upgrading with the 3rd upgrade, so it could be possible that he will just not push now.
Yeah, we'll see. 3 shuttles here and the dropship flies in, so unfortunate timing maybe. He's going to be able to send those shuttles back to clear this out, or at least one of them back there. So Maars was waiting for this to finish, but because he waited so long, NbA got some shuttles over here and was able to kind of clear that out pretty quickly. But a couple of vultures down the ramp actually going to get a few probe kills as well, so that's nice. Now, Maars would have scouted these shuttles, or at least one of them. Even flying over some mines here, so we'll see if there's a reaction, if Maars can kind of defend and not take too much damage from this drop.
But I'm beginning to get a little bit scared here for Maars, because there's still no 4th base attempt, and there's still no push, at least at 180 already.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll drop. Looks like it's ready to come in. There's a few turrets here, but will it be enough? I don't think so. A couple of units get out. Where are the storms? There's so many Templar here. Nice ult from Chris. Okay, there are a couple of storms go down on the tanks, but not really any on the SCVs, so yeah, that drop really wasn't worth it. Nice defense there from Maars. There is still one Templar. It does have a storm.
One more.
How many will he get?
Maybe
like, what was that, like 3 or 4 or something? But yeah, not too bad. So overall, I'd say that was pretty good for Maars. I mean, NbA lost, 3 shuttles worth of units? There was 2 Reavers in there. There were Zealots and Templars for, 3 SCVs and some damage on tanks. So very nice trade for Maars.
Yeah, definitely not worth it. Maars was already at 73 workers before the drop. Now he's at 70, so 70 is fine. you don't even need way more than that. So this drop really didn't hurt Maars at all. It just killed some units of NbA, I would say.
Yeah, a couple of scans going down. Does look like Maars is getting ready to kind of push out on the map here. This is an interesting push path that he's taking going up here. Maybe he just wants to kind of set up position to take his own base up here. Yeah, it looks like he's not even pushing, so it might be he's just waiting for 3-2, like you said, and that's actually just about done here. So looks like Maars is just going to go ahead and establish a 4th base and then push out with 3-2.
What I wonder about for NbA here is he transitioning to carriers? Because, yeah, there we go, okay, perfect timing. Because whenever I play Eclipse and whenever I talk about someone here playing PvT on this map, I always say, in the late game, when the Terran is max, you cannot win by ground. Like, you see these narrow pathways, you cannot flank the Terran army, and if you cannot flank a 3-2 upgraded maxed out Terran army, you're gonna get destroyed. So I think eventually on Eclipse, you always have to transition to carriers, and I'm happy that we see the transition here for NbA.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. This map in general, it's just kind of hard, I find, for PvT. If it goes on long enough, you definitely have to get some kind of tech like carriers. So we'll see. I mean, he is maxed out, so he can't even start the carriers now. And Maars will have a bit of a timing here with this push, right? Like, okay, there is a carrier that has been started. No, it's just an Arbiter. Okay, so yeah, no carriers have been started at this time now. So Maars is going to have that opportunity to push and maybe do some serious damage before NbA can really get the carriers out to play a role.
Yeah, you need to waste some units as a Protoss. For example, you can go for recall and then rebuild that lost supply with carriers. But the problem is, if you have a maxed army and you don't lose units before the actual push of the Terran happens, the Terran will push you, you will completely lose the first fight usually, but then remaxing on carrier just takes too long. Carriers are not very quick at remaxing. You also need to build interceptors, so carriers not the best remaxing unit. So this could get dangerous if NbA doesn't free some supply.
Yeah, I'm almost a little bit surprised we haven't seen Maars go for that push. He is on 3-2 now. We did see him running around with vultures a little bit, but maybe he just wants to take this from a defensive standpoint and just like make NbA waste his minerals or something. But I feel like if he does that, it's going to give NbA a chance to get out the carriers that he wants and needs to kind of finish us off, right?
Yeah. I mean, another possible strategy for Terran is just going for split map, like just never attacking, never pushing, and get the top right, top left, and then the Protoss usually gets the bottom two bases. The bottom two bases are definitely more resource rich compared to the top left, so in that case Maars needs to be a little bit more cost effective to make it work. But yeah, forget that, it looks like Maars is finally pushing.
Yeah, we'll see where he wants to go. Looks like he is going to go for those new bases. Going to have to be careful. Don't want his units to split up too much there. It looks like they are going to be fine here. So he will try and take this base, but here comes NbA. He's going to be able to catch some of the tanks just up on the high ground here. Not really in range of the defense of the other tanks. Nice EMP going down on one of those Arbiters. Going to deny a couple of stasis. Oh, hitting both, but the stasis does get off. Still, I don't think this is the fight NbA wants to take, going down a small ramp with a bunch of tanks there.
Yeah, but maybe a counter-attack is possible. Oh, some goons getting lured into the siege tanks. The rest running into the mines. Where are the reinforcements of Maars? Will he react? So we see two tanks going there. Okay, he did react. He's laying some more mines. Maybe pulling some SCVs would help as well. And the main army is moving back now.
Yeah, I think he should move most of it back, but he could leave a couple to maybe try and kill that base. But this just looks like way too much here for Maars, for NbA to deal with Maars. But here comes some Zealots and Storms. Where are the Storms? Oh, we can get a couple good Storms on all of those tanks. Where are the Storms? Oh. Hitting the backwoods. Oh, there we go. Some great Storms on those tanks. Going to be able to clean up most of those tanks. So that's pretty painful for Maars. But we do have to remember this Terran army is very, very strong against the ground army of Protoss at the moment, being on 3-2.
Yeah, it was also very damaged. Like every other Storm could kill like 3 or 4 tanks again. I think it started out very nice for Maars. Like, sure, he lost some tanks on the high ground, which was unfortunate, but I think the position and the mines helped a lot against NbA's army, but then the Storms really did a lot there. And now it's pretty even who can win this fight. It looks like Maars is coming out ahead here.
Yeah, but is this going to give NbA the time he needs to get his carriers out? Like, we do see one here out already, a couple more on the way. It's going to be a little bit before he's got a critical amount with some interceptors, but they are coming. So Maars may be on a little bit of a timer here if he wants to get some damage done before the carriers come into play. No Goliaths being produced either, so Maars doesn't even know about this transition here.
Oh, but NbA fighting from the low ground. This is not the fight NbA wants to take. Losing so many units. Nice storm there in the end, but man, he will get his natural siege. But here come the carriers. And I really hope Maars retreats the tanks now instead of losing them all. Like against Dragon in the semifinals.
Yeah, we got 4 carriers on the map now. Now they're not full of interceptors quite yet, so maybe there's a little bit of survivability here, but he really needs to get those Goliaths here out, and you just can't throw away these tanks to the carriers for nothing, right? You really need some Goliaths here with this army.
Yeah, this push of Maars has to work. So initially he started to go for the bottom right expansion. Now he shifted his focus to the natural to go for the kill and win of the game here. But this now didn't work. He really has to save his units or kill the bottom 2 expansions. One of that has to happen, otherwise, yeah, NbA will just have too much.
Well, he's trying now. He does kill off 1 expansion over here. He's got a bunch of tanks down here as well, but he still doesn't have the answer to these carriers, right? These carriers are eventually going to clean this up here. And NbA has already retaken that base that just died, or at least put a nexus to starting up there. Meanwhile, there are Goliaths in production now finally, but is this going to be enough? Is he going to be able to get a good critical mass of Goliaths out to fight these carriers before these carriers can really wipe the rest of his army? I don't think so, right?
No, definitely not. He's losing all the tanks. I mean, that was 7 tanks. What did he kill? He killed some cannons. That's it. There were no probes to be killed here, only like 3 or so. But in the end, he's just losing all the carriers. And this should give NbA a very good next attack. He is the 9th top left here as well. So Maars should be on like 1.5 bases here. I think the 3rd one will get mined out as well soon. And NbA has so much minerals and gas still, he can just remax and go for a nice big attack, I think.
Yeah, well now the carriers are starting to fly towards Mars' base here into the natural. If they can eventually fly in over top of the factories, that could be a game-winning move, but I think there's just too many turrets and Goliaths here at the moment that he can't quite do that. But he's still in a very good position, right? Having the carriers on the other side of the map, not needing to use them to defend, and being able to deny Mars' 5th base here, while still protecting his bottom 2 bases. Like, this is looking really good for him.
And now I can maybe elaborate on the thing that I mentioned earlier a little bit. So when one player takes the top left and the other player takes the bottom right bases, the player with the bottom right bases has way more resources overall. So the player with the top left needs to be way more effective to win if he really just wants to go for the split map. But since Maars just lost a lot of units to the carriers, I don't think the cost effectivity of Maars is enough to win the game with only the top left. So I think he still has to do something here.
Yeah, well, we'll see. He is maxed. He is pushing out. Now, this army does have a lot of Goliaths in it. Good amount of tanks, some vultures in here as well, but looks like there's maybe 6 carriers, 7 carriers kind of out on the map here now. That's a lot of carriers. Now, these Goliaths are fully upgraded, so they will be able to start picking off interceptors decently well, but is this going to be enough? One of the carriers actually going down, so nice pick off there from Maars. Losing that science vessel, so he's not going to have vision of that high ground there anymore. Maybe be a little bit beneficial for NbA to kind of micro here, because knowing Maars doesn't have that high ground vision.
Oh, this is a pretty good position for NbA. Nice flank here from the left, from the bottom, and with the carriers from the right. Nice storm as well. Only 4 tanks left. Now pretty much 0, and the Goliaths cannot finish the carriers. All the carriers still alive. Very damaged. 1 goes down. Okay, maybe 1 more goes down here from those 3 Goliaths. Will be close. Yeah. Yes, 1 more goes down. So he is starting to kill off some carriers. And will another one fall? He has 30 HP on 1 carrier.
Yeah, I don't think that one was being targeted, so maybe a missed opportunity. If he could have picked that one off, he would have been down to 3 carriers. Maybe Maars could still get a good push off here, but as it stands, NbA was able to hold that off, and now Maars just trying to set up top left here. His 3rd base basically mined out, it looks like. 4th base actually getting kind of low too, so Maars really needs to kill something off or find a new base for himself, get that new base saturated. But it looks like NbA is actually heading up there with a group of units. Does Maars have enough to hold this?
There are 3 tanks here, but I think 3 tanks are not enough if NbA is microing well. But so far, yeah, okay, there are more units coming, so nice storm there, killing a lot of SCVs as well. So Maars takes out this base, and this means Maars is on a single base here. The 4th base, all the other bases are mined out. So I think this is do or die time for Maars. This push has to end the game. it's not enough to kill an expansion at this point.
Yeah, definitely, because we can see, I mean, NbA is still mining from 3 bases. Maars is barely mining from 1 there. It's got to have less than half the minerals left, so pretty critical moment here for Maars. Will it work? He wants to try and get up into the natural main here. Oh, great storm going down, hitting a lot of tanks there. Really damaging them. I don't know where the carriers are at this moment. I can't even see them flying around the map. Okay, there they are in the main base. So does NbA have enough to hold this off?
I think he doesn't have to free his own natural. He can just rally the units in the back of his base and wait for Maars to try to get up the ramp and then get a good fight there. I don't think he has to run down to the natural. The natural is not important at this point anymore.
Yeah, there was also that group of units at the top of the map. It looks like NbA is starting to bring them down, so potentially you could go for some kind of flanking maneuver here. It does look like Maars is trying to push up the ramp with a few Goliaths. I don't know if that's necessarily the option here. They are going to come down, continue to pick off interceptors. There's still a lot of interceptors here, so I do think NbA is eventually going to be able to hold this off here, whittle this army down enough, and if he's able to break this push, that's going to be GG. Maars is sending in some reinforcements, but is this going to be enough?
I think NbA is doing this exactly right here. He's not engaging with the ground armies through the small ramp, so he's seeing that he cannot do a lot with ground here, but he can do a lot with the carriers, and he's just having all the units on hold position and just letting the carriers work. This is exactly how you should do it. And now he reduced the tank count enough that he thinks he can break out, and I think he's right here.
Yeah, especially if he brought those units kind of sitting in his 4th base now to kind of flank this, but he doesn't even need it. It looks like he will break out of here, and Maars knows that is the game here. He taps out, GG is called, and NbA takes a 2-0 lead. Very nice game.
Yeah, GG, and once again, this carriers being the problem for Maars here. Like in the semi-finals, we saw like 3 games where carriers were a big problem because either he didn't scout it or he didn't have enough Goliaths in the correct spot, and here he didn't see the carriers beforehand, and he lost like what was a total of 10 tanks or so to the carriers, and I think that was really the main problem in this game.
Yeah, I mean strategically and everything he plays well, but it may be struggling a little bit against those carriers. So we'll see if NbA wants to continue to use them. Maybe he's found like a little weakness he could take advantage of in Mars's play here. But we'll see. 3rd map is coming up. Looks like it is probably Ascension. 3-player map. Definitely a map where someone like NbA could go for like a early Nexus, like a 12 Nexus, or something like a 16 Nexus after Zealot. Definitely plenty of options you can take advantage of here as Brodas.
Yeah, I also think carriers can be fine here. We saw it last time in the semi-finals. Dragon used the carriers here to great potential if you get them rather early. So if you can contain the Terran in like 3 bases and you have the high ground as the Protoss, then you can just go between like the main base and the high ground in front of the Terran 3rd. Later in the game, I think carriers are not that good, but yeah, let's find out what they plan to choose and jump into the first game. Okay, and here we are on Ascension, and in the 12 o'clock position we have our Terran player. It is Maars.
Alright, and on the bottom left, 1 game away from finishing 3rd place here in GosuLeague, it is NbA. Alright, do or die time for Maars. What do you bring out if you're Maars on this map, and knowing that you're 1 game away from elimination?
So both previous games we have seen NbA go for something aggressive, so I could definitely see Maars thinking, yeah, we still didn't have a standard game that I can play my standard game on. I still think he's sure that he can like win a straight up normal macro game, and I think he's going for that again.
Yeah, I would probably agree, and I honestly think he would be right. Like, Maars looks pretty good, pretty solid in standard play, right? Like, he's very scary. He can hit his timings really well. It's just like when he gets messed up early on from like some kind of early aggression or cheese, or if he, ends up having to fight carriers, or when he starts to struggle, you can see. So I would definitely think he would go for something like that. Interesting wall here. I haven't really seen this positioning for the barracks and depot, but it looks all right. You can still, of course, micro those Marines in between there against any early Zealot aggression. And we do have that gateway. No gas taken yet from NbA, so he will probably go for at least a little bit of Zealot aggression here.
Yeah, and we just saw Zero highlighting here the wall can be completed with a factory fitting between the depot and the gas here, and that would be Zealot tight, I believe. With that early Zealot coming, I think the factory will not be started. So we could see this getting out of control if the Zealot... okay, no, the Zealot is actually later than I thought. So I think he will start the factory beforehand.
Yeah, and this isn't going to be a super hard commit to Zealots either. We do see that he took the gas there. So it's probably going to be like Zealot core, Zealot type build. We do see the core come down. First Zealot is out, so I would almost expect to see him send maybe another Zealot. He doesn't have to, but the option is there if he wants.
Yeah, Maars inside the main here, scouting everything. But again, as you can see, the SCV is leaving once again. So I'm not sure why he's always leaving with the SCV when there's no goon out, nothing that can really catch him. Like, why would he leave the base? I think it could have cost him the first game because he didn't see the early robotics. And here he's doing it again. So I really hope he goes in quickly before the goon is out.
Yeah, now first Zealot is coming in here. Oh, he's going to be able to catch that first Marine. Maybe a little bit of miscontrol. Will he catch the second Marine there? Trying to body block with that probe. Oh, he could have got that second Marine, but probe goes down. Marine does survive for now. Zealot will get in, be able to scout around here, see if he can get some more damage done. Second Zealot also on the way here. So hopefully Maars can deal with this. I think he'll be okay, but another Marine going down, not really what you want to see here early on.
Yeah, so far this Zealot, I think, already paid for itself, killing 2 Marines, damaging 2 other ones. So I think it's a pretty nice Zealot.
Yeah, now a second Zealot is coming in as well, so really need Maars to like kill one of these off. Now with the Vulture out, this pretty much ends the rest. He should be fine, right? He can micro that Vulture endlessly against slow Zealots here, if need be. So this pretty much should, like I said, should end the rush here. Picking off that first Zealot here. Second Zealot almost coming down, but with the Dragoon coming up, this still is a little bit dangerous.
Yeah. 2 Vultures out. Yeah, 2 Vultures and 2 Marines should be able to push this Goon back. I mean, yes, Goons are better than Vultures, but only 1 Goon still needs 6 shots to kill a Vulture. And if there are 2, you need 12 shots. In those 12 shots, a lot of damage can be dealt with the Goon. Yeah,
so now add-on is coming down for that factory. Natural base has started up here for Maars as well. Couple Dragoons trying to poke it, see if they can't get a little bit more damage done. That bunker's just about to finish. Will it finish up before any of these Marines go down? Looks like he'll lose maybe 1, maybe 2. Oh, okay.
Oh, Goon goes down.
Get in, but then a Goon goes down, yeah. So in the end, I think probably good for Maars having killed one of those Goons for just a couple of Marines.
Yeah.
Or even 1 Marine, yeah.
Yeah, I think the rush, I mean, it did some damage. Now he also lost the Goon, and overall I think they almost come out even here. The expansion timing is important. I think Maars' expansion, was it slightly earlier? Oh, second Goon almost goes down.
Yeah, it looks like it will get away. Yeah, it was close.
Okay.
So NbA looks like his expansion's just up there, slightly quicker than Maars, but nothing too deadly. Almost the same time. Looks like the transfer just a few seconds later there. So pretty much exact same time, I would say. Now, where do the players want to go? It looks like we're going up to 3 Gateway Observer here from NbA. This was like a pretty stock standard style for Protoss for a long time. You don't see it as much these days, but still a fine way to play. Just getting up 3 gateways, going into observers. It's pretty much safe against any kind of early pushes or aggression that Terran may want to do.
Yeah, most of the time Protosses like to take the third expansion on either 1, 2 or 3 gateways, with 2 I think being the most common option here, 3 being the second most common option, and like, yeah, third base and 1 base is just greedy. But yeah, he's playing it safe here, getting 3 gateways and then taking third base. But I think there's still a vulture that wasn't cleared, so this could kill the probe if he's paying attention.
Oh, goons will come in, but yeah, he does kill a probe, so I'm just going to deny that base a little bit. I don't think NbA is going to mind too much. The natural and third base are pretty close. He can just send another probe up there pretty quickly here to take that third base, but still a nice pickup there from Maars. Now, goons are heading back into the main, maybe suspecting a drop could be coming, or at least the timing of a drop could be here. So he wants to have the goons in position if there were going to be a drop. Of course, we can tell there isn't a drop or even a starport on the map, but NbA wouldn't know that just at this time.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Observer is flying across the map, so this is the next very important step after the third base for the Protoss to decide, okay, can I tag up to carriers or arbiters right now? Or do I have to add a lot of gateways to make sure I hold this push that is coming? So it's very important that you see the factory count here for the Terran. But Maars has a very nice turret ring. So this Observer, okay, it found a way in. So yeah, kind of unfortunate for Maars, but Observer flies in, sees there are 2 factories and with just 2 more just starting. So he knows, okay, there's no like crazy push coming anytime soon. That means he can probably go for some tech, and here we can see the Citadel and the Forge is starting for the upgrades.
Also getting another gateway to at least match the factory count with 4 factories coming out here for Maars. I was going to suggest maybe he could fly those 2 observers in like we saw Dragon do over a turret if he couldn't find a way in, but he did manage to find a little break in the 2 turrets there to get in, scout that off. Now Armory is started, so Maars just wants to get that Armory up, get those upgrades going. Looks like DM NbA here, moving across the map with a group of Dragoons, just kind of probably wanting to take a position up here on the high ground to maybe slow or deny a third base attempt from Maars. Probably not looking, to do any real damage or attack at this point.
Yeah, and I'm still looking for the next step for Maars here. We see the Armory, but we don't see a third base, and we don't see 6 or 7 factories. So 4 factories is this kind of middle ground where you have a lot of units, or like a nice amount of units to not die from any early aggression, and maybe if the Protoss is super greedy you can go for a little push. But also the third base is rather late here, so with the third base already being finished for NbA, I think Maars is maybe a little bit behind here.
Yeah, well, this positioning, the way he's pushing out towards his third base, does look like he probably wants to get a third base up and running off of this. We'll see if he starts that here soon. Probably going to just start it maybe on location. I would expect so. We'll see. I can't see him wanting to go for a full-on push across the map here, and probably just wants to take a position, throw down that third base, get his upgrades going, and play for a longer macro game like we saw in last game.
Yeah, with 4 factories going for a push, I don't think it's best idea. Nice shuttle drop by NbA. The big 4 tanks are not really participating in the fight. Maybe the goons could pick off the 4 tanks on the high ground. Yeah, but he's losing some goons in the process as well. So I think overall, fine trade for both players, pretty equal, and a lot of gateways coming for NbA. So he's taking this seriously. He wants to make sure he has enough units producing to hold this push that is coming.
Yeah, Maars killing enough Dragoons there, feels like feeling comfortable to continue to move forward. I would like to see maybe a couple more tanks remade. Looks like he is making them. We want to send those out. Third base is coming down, so we'll see how much he wants to commit to this. I believe we saw a game against Dragon where he just kept pushing, but it was only on 4 factories, and eventually Dragon just had more than enough when he got up to enough gateways here. So are we going to see a similar situation here? If Maars doesn't add on more factories, or if he commits too heavily to this, he's going to be in a pretty bad spot if NbA defends.
It could be, but NbA has missed his shot to take the high ground here. So the reinforcements were just chilling a bit too long in the natural, and now Maars has his high ground, but I still think NbA just has too many units.
Yeah, it looks that way. Not enough units to kind of buffer for these tanks here, and NbA is going to be able to clean this up fairly easily. And now we've got Maars back at home, sitting on those 4 factories, still taking a third base. Like, okay, maybe he can hold this third base, but it's going to be a while before he can actually move out and push on the map again, which is going to give NbA all the time in the world to do what he wants, right? He can tech up to his arbiters or carriers, he can take another base or 2 bases, and we can see that right now. He's going for that base. We do have that tech coming along here. Stargate is done. It doesn't look like Arbiter has been started yet, but I imagine we'll see that going here right away.
Yes. Yeah, NbA just ahead in everything now. You can also see it in supply. NbA is ahead 40 supply here. And yeah, this is exactly the reason why it's not the best idea to go for a push with only 4 factories. Except, of course, if the Protoss is being greedy. But NbA was not greedy. He got a lot of gateways himself. It was fine.
Yeah, now this opens up to maybe some counter aggression. We'll see how this goes. NbA is pushing in. The shuttle does die, but Zealots are getting on top of some of these tanks. Will this be enough? I think with the 4 tanks on the back, here, with the Vultures coming in, some SCV blocking and repairing, Maars will be able to hold this, and maybe a little bit of an overextension there from NbA, but there's only 1 tank left. Oh, killing the rest of the goons with that 1 shot. So yeah, maybe a bit of an inefficient trade there for NbA, but he's still in an okay spot. Like, looking at the supplies, Maars is definitely closer in supply, but NbA is still in a fine spot.
Yeah, reducing the tank count is always okay for the Protoss, even if you have maybe a little bit more losses in resources from that fight. It's still always good to reduce the tank count. He's getting his 4th base now, and he should have his R-readers on the way, so I think he's going into a nice position in the late game here.
Yeah, we'll see where Maars wants to go from here. Scans do come down. He does see that Arbiter tech. He does see the Stargate blinking. He doesn't know how far along that Arbiter is. As we can see, it's only kind of just started, so it'll be a little while still before you can get those first stasis or first recall off. Maars is going to have to be aware that that is going to be a possibility here in the next couple of minutes. Going to throw down even another factory, so really powering up on these 3 bases. And still only 1 armory that I could see, so might be time to get the... Oh no, never mind, there is 2 there. Okay, so he has started the 2-1 upgrade, but it's going to be a little ways before that's finished, and Maars is ready for another push.
Meanwhile, NbA already finished the 1-1 upgrades. I think NbA is a player who always likes to have a lot of upgrades, and here we see him going for double forge again. So he's a little bit ahead in upgrades, and with the Arbiter tech coming, the next logical step for NbA, I think, would be to go for another base, for the 5th base, maybe in another starting position on the right, because heading into the late game for Protoss, you definitely want to have a place where you build some additional gateways in case the Terran maxes out and has this huge 3-3 upgraded army at some point. You just need more gateways in another main base.
Yeah, and one of the main reasons for that, like if Terran gets on top of your production or gets even just into the natural, into a spot where you can't really get your units out on the map if you don't have gateways in another location, you just can't get units onto the map to really contest it, contest Terran anywhere. So we'll see if NbA starts to head towards that direction. It looks like he's pushing up onto this high ground, just clearing out some mines. Can't really do any engagement here. Not nearly enough units there. It's only Dragoons, so it would be suicide. I don't think he's going to push in there. He's just trying to maybe get some scouting done and clear off any mines on the map he can find.
And he can find a lot of mines on the map. Very nice mine coverage by Maars. Both Vultures are active on the map. Or maybe they can even pick off some Zealots or even High Templar here. But I think he doesn't know that there are High Templars on the high ground.
Main base has mined out. We are taking that 5th base too for NbA. Not at another main location, but that base just kind of outside his main there. We also saw him just finish a support bay. I can't imagine this is for late Reaver tech, and you can only imagine he wants to get shuttle speed just for some harass here in a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. Like just some speed shuttle storm drops on the economy. This base location that NbA took for his 5th base, I think that's pretty dangerous. I think if Maars finishes his 2-1 upgrades and has like a maxed out army, he can take his own high ground in front of 3rd, and from that high ground, it's just like one screen to that base. And I don't think you can fight against the sieged up army on the high ground for Terran.
Yeah, the only time I would say maybe that was an okay base take is if maybe you went for carriers or something like that, but we can see NbA is not going for that, at least not at this point. Now, he is moving forward. Looks like maybe he wants to try for another bust. I don't know if this is going to be the best idea if he does go for it. Maars is pretty entrenched back here. He's got a lot of units, decent number of vultures and tanks sieged up in the back. 2-1 isn't quite done yet, so maybe there's a little bit of an opportunity, but it's just about to finish. That window is closing fast if he wants to go for that kind of play.
Yeah, I really don't think you want to attack into this as a Brothers. Way too narrow.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. Now, Arbiter is flying around. Maybe if he could get a couple of good stasis off in the back or something. But no, Arbiter's just going to chill in the middle. I don't know if he wants to go for that recall. He does have the energy for it. Has recall been upgraded? Is he just going to go for a recall in the main? Maybe he's waiting for that push out to go for that recall. We'll see here. Arbiter just still kind of chilling there. Army moving around, see if he can pick off mines, pick off maybe any stray units there. And yeah, just a nice position here. It looks like Maars wants to eventually take that 4th base. We did see a command center building, and he's starting to rotate some army over there now as well. Oh, even a drop in the main.
Yeah, no huge amounts of probes to pick off here. Not sure what this vulture drop can accomplish. I mean, it killed the gas probes, but NbA is not exactly starving of gas, so it should be fine here.
Yeah, also managed to get his Zealot and Dragoon for their troubles, so maybe not the worst drop in the world, but 6th base coming down now for NbA. Once again, that low ground base, so still not taking another main to add in a bunch of gateways somewhere. I kind of... Okay, here comes the recall. Hold that thought. We'll see. Will it get off? Okay, it does get off. Not the biggest recall ever. A few small handful of Dragoons, a couple Zealots, and a Templar, but we'll get a little bit of damage done until the army can get back here and defend it.
Yeah, so far killed the turret, killed 2 tanks, and now maybe looking for those armories, but the armories are in the natural, so no armories to pick off here. Maybe you can get like 1 or 2 supply depots, but not the most effective recall. Of course, okay, killing 2 vessels together with the 2 tanks he killed earlier, so that's a little bit better.
Yeah, and if you notice, he also targeted down that Comstat, so maybe that his play here is to try and deny a lot of the vision or detection, so his main army can take a fight with not enough scans or detection at some point, right? Like killed off 2 vessels, killed off the Comstat. Gonna just allow his arbiters maybe a little bit more free roam, make them a little bit more powerful. Moving around here, thinking maybe there was a base at that base, but there isn't one there for Maars. We can see he's actually taking a base on that high ground in the top right. I think that's a base anyway. It could just be like a floating building or something. No, okay, there is a command center there. Nothing there at the moment, but eventually you'll probably get some SCPs over there. But hold that thought, we do have maybe another engage coming in here at the 4th base. Okay, maybe thinking better of it with a depot wall and a bunch of tanks behind it.
He could also recall on top of that. Okay, he goes for the stasis, but there is a little wall. Zealots can go through, 2 tanks still shooting. Goons cannot really reach those tanks, so is this a good attack for NbA? I don't think so.
I don't really think so either. The supply advantage is in his favor, but this is a lot of tanks coming up here. Now he does break down that depot, so he's going to get in here. Maybe he can pick off like the command center or something here if Maars isn't watching or repairing that. More tanks coming up, more units coming out here for NbA. This could become a real point of contention. Oh, and Maars is just being really... Oh, no repair or lift on that command center, and he just took too long with the tanks. I feel like Maars didn't need to lose the command center there, and he could have saved it had he moved his units forward a little bit quicker.
Yeah, he was a little bit too slow with the units, and he also did not repair. So I think both of those things could have prevented this attack. But as it stands now, this was a very successful attack for NbA. So now it starts to get dangerous for Maars. But now he finally claimed his high ground in front of the natural, in front of the 3rd base. And here, this is what I mean. If you have this high ground as a Terran, you cannot defend this with the ground up as a product. So this base will go down. But oh man, so many tanks on the left and so many tanks in the middle, totally spread apart. And this is just free pick-off of an army by NbA.
Yeah, wow, look at that, and just engulfing it, and yeah, losing that big army. Maars is gonna GG and tap out. So a bit unfortunate this game, or this series ends in 3 games, but nicely done by NbA, taking this down 3-0 to take 3rd place here in this season of GosuLeague.
Yeah, congratulations. He was playing in ProLeague before, and he definitely showed here that he can finish high in GosuLeague again, and he is definitely material that can hold his own in ProLeague.
Yeah, for sure. But still, nice showing from Maars, taking 4th place as well. He had 3rd place last season, so very, very consistent here in GosuLeague, finishing top 4 both times. Very strong player. Would not be shocked to see him qualify for Pro League at some point in the future. But as it stands, yeah, NbA 3rd place for him. Congratulations, 4th place for Maars. I think they get a few bonus points for that for next season.
Yep. And next season, by the way, guys, has already started. So if you want to check that out, I will put a link in the chat here. There we go. There's a link in the chat for the BSL. For all the BSL links. Check those out. BSL14 has started. You can play right away and participate and try to get into the same position that we just saw NbA and Maars are. Overall, congratulations to NbA and Maars for finishing 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, so from there we will be able to move on to the finals. I'm not sure if we're taking a little break here before, but the final match will be Dragon between DeSakwe, so going to be looking forward to that. It should be a very good match. I do know Dragon and DeSakwe have met in the finals of a tournament before, back in I want to say 2016-ish. It was the Team Liquid Legacy StarLeague where Dragon did beat DeSakwe 4-1, but we do also have to remember Dragon was playing Zerg at that time against Protoss. He has since switched to playing Protoss against Protoss. It makes it laddering easier for him and stuff like that. So yeah, he's been working on his PvP. I don't know if it's necessarily up to par quite yet, but we'll see how he does against DeSakwe. This should be a good match.
Yeah, Dragon won 3-0 in a PvP already in the quarterfinals against Cruiser. But we also saw DeSakwe winning a PvP in the semifinals against NbA that we just saw took 3rd place by defeating Maars 3-0. So both players are very strong. Both players have proven they can fight in PvP very well and win their series, and I'm sure we saw an awesome match here. And I think first game is ready and we can jump in.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.